All right, let's get started, Ruth. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Alan Goldberg from the ASBDC, and we are today discussing the business plan reinvented by the funding roadmap, and you are listening to a web bite, which is actually a encapsulated version of the longer version that Ruth and I have gone through, explaining her interactive site. I am not doing the driving today. I have given Ruth the keys and also the steering wheel, and you are looking at, which is really cool, her website, and she is the one that's going to take us through this. Ruth, first, thanks so much for joining. Appreciate it very much. We also have with us one of her staff members who she has told me invented, wrote, programmed, designed, and conceived of this interactive website. We should give him credit. Reginald Spivey, thanks so much, sir, for listening. We appreciate it and joining us. Ruth, why don't we get started, and as people join us, we'll welcome them to our web bite.
Sounds great. So as a lot of you know, we have been doing these web bite series since January of 2011 with the ASBDC, and we are very grateful to Charles T. Rowe and his entire staff, and also, of course, Alan Goldberg, who is just the most amazing person that I've ever met in this space, and has done such an incredible job to help us explain our product and vision to all of you. We have done a bunch of these actually, and they are posted on the ginormous website for you guys to review. And also there is a really good one that that if you haven't seen the product, you could watch it. The link is on our partner page, and it's right here. So the topic of this particular web bite is about how we can engage our technology with your organization. And so I wanted to sort of show you a little bit more about how this could happen. First of all, we are on the Small Business Development National Information Clearinghouse. Our information about the funding roadmap is on this website. So you can obviously get information about it there, as well as on our website. We created a page which we're going to send you all in an email, which has different affiliate links, something as simple as just a link, text link, and then different kinds of banner ads, which you can copy and paste the code and instantly put these banner ads up on your website or any of the other material that you use to help entrepreneurs plan, launch, and find funding for their business. Some of the companies that have done that, for example, the CPA directory, as you can see, they have a little tiny banner ad here, and of course you click on it and it links back to our website. We also have a larger banner ad with the California Hispanic Chamber, and this goes into a lot more detail. This banner is also available on that page. It's code that can be easily copied and pasted onto your website. We also have information about us, our product, on the Startup America partnership, which we're very proud of. And then, so I wanted to show you also, for example, here's an example of how the North Dakota Small Business Development Center promotes another product, which is the Ultimate Business Planner, and how they just are able to take this marketing piece and just copy and paste it directly into a space on their website, which is what we are asking all of you to do with the funding roadmap as an additional resource to a lot of the other products. For example, they also have QuickBooks, Microsoft Office, and different resources.
I think that's a neat idea, Ruth, if I may interrupt for just a moment, because I've worked with SBDCs from, coast to coast, and a lot of them have their clients drive around their website looking for ideas and or understanding, and I think that they could easily stumble, if you will, onto the funding roadmap, but not necessarily know about it before, and spreading the word this way, the way you've just talked about, makes a lot of sense, because I'm not sure, again, I've asked SBDC directors this question for years, I'm not sure how many small business people would go to a national site like the ASBDC site, but I know that they would go to their local SBDC site.
Right.
Because those are the people that they've made connections with. So I like this idea. It makes good sense. It really does.
Right. And then, you know, it can be as simple as a link like this, business planning resources, and then you click on it, and they take you to, you know, this about.com, which, you know, obviously people get lost in those kinds of connections where, you know, here's a good example of a link to an actual planning, marketing, another marketing thing where they're marketing these kinds of software products. And basically, we're just asking to have the same kind of exposure as the only cloud-based reporting system, you know, on the market that can be used from a smartphone, and obviously is extremely important in this world of natural disasters, you know, plaguing our world here. So, so basically, like I said, we built this page. It's very simple. We're going to send out an email to everyone. Here's for example, a link that would go on a page like that. The one that I just showed you, where you have a website where you don't have actual companies' banner ads and things, but you just have a text link. That text link, this text link, for example, could be on every SBDC website. Very simple. If they want to go and be more elaborate, obviously, and maybe explain it further, then they could go into a more detailed banner ads like these.
Well, I think what that allows a lot of people to do on the SBDC sites that are local is to build out what is a missing piece. My head keeps telling me that there's a lot of pieces that entrepreneurs have to assemble to make what they want to do go or work. And my head tells me that the funding roadmap has assembled all of those pieces. I still think that when you weigh the different components of what an entrepreneur has to go through and assemble, to me, the easiest path is to go through the funding roadmap path, because there are so many things that even if you try to assemble them and you don't have the completeness of the funding roadmap, you forget about. I mean, just the diligence component as an example. And I think the SBDCs, to tie this back to their site, would do very well in bringing their clients to your site and saying, look, there are things you're going to forget about. You're not going to remember to do this and this. I have already started businesses in my career where, frankly, I forgot about due diligence completely, not because it wasn't an important component, but because it wasn't something that in the beginning I was schooled to think about, whereas with the funding roadmap and the way that you've built the site, it helps that entrepreneur remember there's more to it than just, if you'll allow me to be colloquial here, just asking for money or just trying to get your idea summarized. And that's why I think putting your banner and or your link on their sites will help that process along tremendously. I'm sorry, Ruth, I didn't mean to get on a soapbox, but I keep thinking about how tough it is to make a business go. And there's a lot of pieces that you never get into your toolbox. You know you should, and sometimes you think about them, you know, after the fact. It happens. You go to a banker or you go to someone and they say to you, okay, you did great. Okay, now where is A, B, C, and D? And you think, oh, I forgot completely to bring that in. I should have. I just didn't do it. So that's the reason why I think linking up makes a huge difference, because there's a lot of entrepreneurs that would drive through your site, look and say, I wouldn't remember that. I have to do it. I forgot I had to do that too. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. I mean, that is why we built this sort of repository type of reporting system, because there are too many documents. There are too many supporting documents, applications, financial statements, and these documents and all of the supporting documentation should be easily accessible and securely stored online, especially in light of the fact that we have so many disasters plaguing our small businesses every day, and then they are required to go into FEMA and try and recreate all this financial information. And had they filled out the funding roadmap in advance of a disaster happening, as part of their normal business planning practice, as opposed to a template, which of course would get destroyed if it was sitting on their laptop. In this type of reporting, it's available instantly, and they don't have to worry about it being incorrect, because we built all the calculations into the reporting system as well.
Well, look what just happened last night. I live in Oklahoma. Last night, we had a half a dozen tornadoes come through the state, going through small and large towns. And my question this morning when I got up, when I found out how many people had been killed and businesses destroyed and towns, was, how many of them will have the ability to rebuild? Replacing the human life is impossible. To rebuild your business, if you had been online with the funding roadmap and stored your right now there are towns in Oklahoma that are gone.
Right.
I'm not talking about houses now. I'm talking about, granted, the town may have been 1,500 people. Town's gone. It's not there anymore. What is left is the bits and pieces and refuge, if you will, of having a huge tornado come through and destroy it. I know that if I had been in one of those towns and had funding roadmap behind me, yes, you would have some really big issues to deal with, but in the back of your mind you'd be saying, boy, I've got my stuff assembled. I can pick up where I left off once I can figure out where we're living and those kind of things. There's going to be an awful lot of small business people, Ruth, as we looked at the national numbers in this series, who will never recover from something like this.
Absolutely. And here is the real shame. They have all the experience. And what a shame it is that we just let them disappear into the black hole and go off to try and rebuild their lives when we desperately need them to continue to help build small businesses and be part of the engine of our economy. So what a shame it is that we don't help them and know where they are and know what kind of businesses they ran yesterday, so that we could then move them back into communities, even if it's not the same community they came from, but we could put them into another community and they could recreate the business that they had in the other community that was just destroyed, because they have all this experience and all these wonderful talent and skills. And with the funding roadmap kind of reporting, we understand, we can see anything we want to know about these companies. There is complete transparency, total disclosure, it's totally compliant, and it allows all of the information to be securely stored, including like tax returns, lease agreements, bank statements, every single thing that you would need to show and validate to an investor or a lender or FEMA or the SBA that you deserve funding to be helped and recreate your business.
You left out one of the descriptions that I think it's fair to say in your defense. I also think you left out the descriptive economical, because one of the things that I've learned that you've taught me is, this is a yearly, it's a pay-to-play site, and correct me if I'm wrong here, it's about $60 a year.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Now, here's what I find curious. I know a lot of people who have started small businesses that have spent 100 times that amount to get something started. Because a good example would be, let's say you have a great restaurant idea, or you're cleaners and you have a great cleaners idea. I know a guy in Dallas who started a cleaners that was mobile, and he was competing with big name brands, and he spent about $125,000 in equipment. Okay.
Right.
But if I had said to him, this is of course before the funding roadmap was out there, if I had said to him, Don, would you spend $60 a year to organize, plan, and present your business? I think he would have looked at me and said, you're crazy, right? I have to spend 10 times that amount or 100 times that amount. I say, no, because using technology today, what the funding roadmap offers is a very economical way to organize your thinking, organize your diligence, organize your forms, and in addition, which I really think is important, it also gives you a chance to market what you've got, not just in your local zip code, but around the world economically. Now, I would think that small business people would look at this and go, okay, there's a trick, right? I mean, okay, come on, Ruth, tell me the truth. There's a trick to this. It's not a trick. It's using the technology in a way, thank goodness, that you all came up with, because I think it is the only way I would go into business today. I wouldn't do it any other way, because it's just way too expensive and way too difficult.
Exactly, and that's why, we have gotten the support and partnership of a lot of big corporations and organizations, as well as the support from the ASBDC, who has who also believes in this technology, and we think this is the way of the future. I mean, when you have nothing but the shirt on your back, and you can walk into a FEMA office and either bring this up on your smartphone, for example, or bring this or log on to their computer and just go right to the software login button and type in your information, and you're in business, and you can now fast track their ability to get you the funding you need so you can start to rebuild your life. That's priceless. That is there, you can't put a price on that. The other side of this is the banking industry. We have this paralyzation. They don't trust the information, and with this type of reporting, now they have the ability to actually see everything they need to see. This is an SBA compliant and GAAP compliant reporting system, and they can go to the questions that they care about the most and find out, where these companies really stand on line item specific detail, not in a big boilerplate running on glorious paragraphs of information that unfortunately never get read. And now they have no excuse, because they can very quickly move around this technology and go back and forth between the questions and the answers, and give credit-worthy, wonderful entrepreneurs the funding that they deserve.
I think the organization of it is what's fascinating. I've been watching this, I've been watching and looking at your site now since January, actually a little before that. And I think the way you've got it organized and the way that it is set up for a small business owner, to me it is very friendly. Now granted, I am a technology guy, and I've looked at an awful lot of GUIs, graphical user interfaces, and a lot of them to me lack understanding almost from the get-go, because they're either too complicated or you've got to drill down too far to figure out what are they asking me. I don't think that's the case here. Reginald obviously did a great job in organizing it, because if I'm a small business guy and I've got an idea, I drill down in section 4. I immediately know what you're asking me, and in fact, my take on it is that you're asking the right questions, because I may never get asked all of these questions in one session, but I know that I'm going to get asked all of these questions, which is fair. It's fair.
Well, and you know what? More importantly, you need to ask yourself all these questions. That's really the bottom line, because this is your business to succeed or fail. no matter whether you bring in investors or not, you need to be well informed. You, the entrepreneur, need to understand, all of these different issues that you will eventually have to understand to launch a successful business and to be able to survive through the entire process of growing that business.
Yep. Yeah, and dealing with this kind of organization, I think makes you better. I'm looking at, I've been looking at the site now for a while, and to me, I think it allows a small business entrepreneur to frame what it is they're trying to do. Instead of saying, well, I'm going to build this product and take it to market, they're actually put through a step-by-step so that they really crystallize their thinking and understand what's expected of them, so that when they go for funding, they don't sit quietly and say, well, I didn't know that, I didn't know that, I didn't know that. The portion of the site, Ruth, I hope you will show us now, is the marketplace, because up to now we've talked about all the important questions, we've talked about the forms, we've talked about the diligence that a lot of people don't do and should. But to me, the marketplace that you've got here takes your normal, really sound, well thought out website and to me makes it intergalactic, because it gives the entrepreneur a chance to market what they've got everywhere. And a lot of entrepreneurs, Ruth, would look you in the eye and say, I know how to put the ideas together, I can fill out our forms, I don't have a clue how to do an elevator pitch or how to do a marketing concept, because it's not my specialty, it's not my core. Here's a way you've solved a problem for them, and it comes with the site. Take me through.
Exactly. Absolutely. So here's Childcare Media, and they built a video for their app. They wrote their executive summary, and people can even vote for this company. You just click on it. See, we just voted for them. So now they can link their funding roadmap with Facebook and with Twitter, and they can create a groundswell of excitement around their idea, their company, and that, of course, is very impressive to. I hope I can get back to my website here. To oh, here we go. To an investor.
Sure.
I mean, for example, unfortunately, this little scroll bar disappears on the side here. I'm going to only be able to go down. Well, for example, our company, we have two Twitter accounts, and on one of them we have almost 25,000 Twitter followers. It's Startups Map, and every time we explain that to people that we're trying to do, but they're incredibly impressed at how effective we've used social media marketing to market our business. So we know that this is a very obviously powerful tool, and it allows, and the other thing that's interesting, if you look at this, which I find fascinating, is how a lot of times a lot of these companies don't need that much funding. So imagine if we could actually analyze all the startups in America, and we could look at how much money they really needed to launch a company. We'd realize that most of them don't need that much money, and we could really get a lot of small businesses off the ground much more effectively. But unfortunately, this information is sitting in a drawer in a business plan, or it's sitting on a template in PDF or something in somebody's computer, and we have no way of even knowing these companies exist.
Well, the marketing that you're referring to used to be done in your zip code. If you think about marketing in stages, when the internet became pronounced and people started to realize the power of the superhighway that was developed, marketing changed. That doesn't mean everybody got the idea. It just means that marketing changed.
Right.
My dad got the idea, and my dad was 80 years old when it happened, but my dad got the idea because he looked at it and he said, no longer does anybody have to market in their own zip code. Well, what Funding RoadMap has done is they've allowed someone to market a business outside of their own zip code, or, if you will, how fast can they print leaflets and put them out. But it's electronic leaflets, and it's distributed everywhere on Earth that has an internet connection, which of course today the internet is ubiquitous. It's everywhere. You know,
Everywhere.
people in China can look at this. People in Tibet can look at this. People in Australia can look at this. Whereas before, if you wanted to market an idea just next door to you, you know, the state next door to you, it was a struggle. It was a struggle. You didn't have the resource to do it, and you had to figure out how you were going to get your marketing brochures and information distributed, whereas today it is distributed electronically. And to me, that's why I love this marketplace, because you put an idea together, you go through the steps, and then you put your marketing plan together and distribute it electronically. And even, as you have noted more than once, you can now see it on a mobile phone, which is our next platform.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So you can log into the funding roadmap, and you can go to on a smartphone, and you can go to the software login button, and you can log right into your version, and you could be anywhere networking. And if you met an investor and they wanted to get specifically into the details of your idea, you can see all of this from if any of you have an iPhone or a smartphone, you can do this, you know, and you can see it yourself. And it's actually amazingly clear how and easy. You know, everything works exactly the same. All the hyperlinks, so it works exactly. We don't need to build an app for this. This is the app.
Yeah, I was about to say is the Apple people are probably frustrated because Reginald didn't have to build an app. It is the app.
Exactly.
It's the app itself. Yeah, it is the app.
Right,
so,
exactly.
Well, Ruth, we have reached the end of our 30-minute web bite. Again,
well, this is
tremendously instructive. I can't thank you enough. The recording will get up on the website. And of course, anybody that would like the recording, I'd be glad. All you have to do is send me an email, alan@prodex.com, or to Ruth. Ruth, I remember it as info.
It's info at fundingroadmap.com. Right.
Right.
And also, I just want to make everyone aware of this URL that's up here, fundingroadmap.com/link-to-FRD. We're going to send this to you, but this is the page where you can grab the banner ads and links, text links.
If you will, send me that link also in your distribution, and I will reemphasize it with everyone. Again, thank you all for joining us this afternoon. I enjoyed it. Ruth, as always, a pleasure for me talking about the funding roadmap, and we will be back in touch later with emails and further discussion. Thank you again for joining us. This is Alan Goldberg. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Alan, so much.
You're welcome.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Bye-bye.